Wow. All right. Well, I almost lost track of time, getting all strung up. I just realized that it's 8 o'clock. So I better go live, huh? Just wait a minute, see if anybody shows up. I wanted to double check and make sure that my audio was coming through. How are you guys doing? Send me a message. I would appreciate that. I have a few things to go over with you tonight. It's kind of weird because every week, like, I sometimes go, I wonder if this is really enough information for people to tune in. And then I talked to a friend of mine from Camaro Cave, and Andrew says, I just wing it, dude. I just come and hang out with the people. And I guess Tonya, she's the structured one. And Andrew just kind of flies by the seat of his pants, which is cool. I guess might be a little bit in between those two, because I feel like if I'm going to talk and you're going to watch, I need to have some stuff to talk about. And so, that's kind of why I almost worry about whether or not I have information that you want to hear about. I think, from doing a study on my channel and like really doing some research on YouTube of other channels, I think probably what I'm going to do is just kind of focus on, a certain thing and not try to get overwhelmed with too much stuff. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if it does. It makes sense to me. So that's probably what my plan's going to be from here on out. This is a new year, and I believe this is the third show of 2026. And so I want to make sure that I bring information and things that you want to know about to the show. And, because if I know myself, if I'm watching something and somebody's yammering on about stuff I don't care about, I pretty much leave right away. So I'm hopefully I can get better at not yammering. The other thing is, I am just absolutely 100% don't want to misrepresent. I don't want to say anything on here that is incorrect. And I don't want to, give the wrong information. So, with that being said, as you all know, if you watch my channel, that I recently purchased a Synergy Green Camaro 2SS RS, and I have officially named him Mr. Grinch. And I was excited about telling everybody about Mr. Grinch, and in the process, I gave some information about Mr. Grinch that is not correct. And because I want to do what I just got done saying, is I want to give the proper information, I need to set that record straight. Again, I made another mistake because I'm human, and I absolutely do not know everything. Trust me, I don't. I'm so new into the car scene, only by a couple of years, that I realized now that, you know, just because you think you know, you really got to dig deep and dive deep into the information, because it might not exactly be what you think it is. So let me back up a little bit, and I'll tell you kind of where I'm going with this, so that I don't feel like, you know, you're bored. So let me pull up I want to pull up a photo real quick of Mr. Grinch. And I thought I had some. I must have skipped right over them. Where'd they go? Huh. It's weird. It's strange. Well, how about that? For some reason, I'm in the wrong library. And here they are. So let me find this. Let me go back to where I need to be. All right. I apologize for the delay. Here is Mr. Grinch. Okay. 2011 V8 2SS RS. And there he is in the garage. Anyway, so here's what I want to do. I want to talk real quick about what I did. I made the video and I put it out, and in the video I said that Mr. Grinch was one of 255, because that's what I thought. I thought that when they built these cars, they started building them in 2010, and then those were V6s, and then they started making the V8 in 2011. Again, back in 2010, 2011, I didn't know any details, but I knew I wanted one of these cars really bad. So again, I'm trying to explain what happened. So in my video, twice, I went back and watched my video because I wanted to know for sure what I said in my video, and I said it twice, that Mr. Grinch is one of 255. Now, that was wrong. And here's how I found out about it. So I plan on showing this car. I've already, 2 weeks ago, I told you that I have plans to show this car. And I've entered it into a car show here locally in Fort Wayne. And so the next thing I wanted to do is I've found somebody to do the hood liner and the trunk liner for showing it. And I've never done any of this stuff, so I'm really like learning it as I go. In the process of doing all this, I got a hold of one of my friends, and I mentioned him in the last show. His name is Drake Donovan, and he has a business called Car Show Life. The address is carshowlife.com. I got a hold of him and I said, "Hey Drake, I would love for you to make me a board, a show board, because the other one that I had was huge. It was like 2 feet by 3 feet. It was gigantic for my SS1LE, and it was too big." And so I met him at these car shows that I've been going to the last couple years. And anyway, I started to send him information, and I'm like, "Please make me a board. Let's, tell me what I owe." He asked me to send him photos. He asked me to send information that I wanted on the board. And in the process, he sent me an email back a day or two later, and he's like, "Look, dude, first of all, you got to give me better photos. The second thing is, I found this information on the internet that that shows or indicates that your car is not a one of 255. And so obviously I felt like a complete idiot. I slightly was disappointed, a little bit, not much, but a little bit disappointed. But I also know that it is something that I learned because I don't know everything. Now, what he did was he directed me to, and I am absolutely going to pull this up for you so you can see it. He absolutely gave me the name of the website, and it's a forum called, can you see that up in the corner? Yeah, let's see. I got to figure out how to get my pointer went over to the wrong screen. There it is. All right, so up here it says CamaroZ28.com, right? And I went up here in the search engine. This is how I found it. He sent me the website, showed me the numbers, and then I found it on my own, which I should have done this before I made my video. Again, learning curve, right? So I typed in Synergy Green Camaro, and the first person that came up, guess who it was? Right here, I'll show you. Right here. 2011, 2012 Camaro build counts from the F. Bodfather on January the 15th, 2013. So I click on that, right? And if you scroll down, this is literally from Mr. Scott Settlemeyer, the F. Bodfather. He, if you don't know, he worked at GM. He played a huge role in the development of Camaros. Anyway, he put all this information on this site way back in 2013. Now, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to show you, where did it? Okay, for some reason it's not highlighted. It was highlighted before. So if you scroll down, then you'll see I got all these ads coming up. I don't want that. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how I can block that out. Let's see if we can take it off screen. Okay, so again, this is information that I found out through Drake that was put on the internet on Camaro Z28 in 2013. So let's go down, and we'll go down here to the exterior color. I don't understand why I had it and now I don't. Cyber gray. All right, let's back up. I'm going to go back up here to the top, and I'm going to type in Synergy Green Metallic F. Bodfather. Here we go. I hope it comes up. It was coming up highlighted. Here we go. See how it's highlighted right there? Now, if you go down here and you look at this number right here, it says Synergy Edition Interior Trim 2SS AHQ 255. All right. So my car has gray interior. It does not have the green interior trim. So with that being said, there's another category here, Synergy Green Accent Trim, 934. And if you go back up here to the top, Where did I find that at? Right here. Camaro 2SS gray leather, $3,625. All right. So now I'm really confused because I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't really know how all these numbers came about. I don't really understand, you know, a lot of this stuff, you know. So what I did was I sent a message to Scott Settlemeyer, the F-Bod father, and last week he was in Florida. And he said, hey, dude, when I get back from Florida, let's have a conversation. So today on the phone, I had a phone call with Scott, and we talked about this situation. So the way he explained it to me is there are 255 cars with AHQ. That's the code, the color code. 2SS, it's got the interior green interior trim that goes in the door panels and across the dash. So if your car is a 2SS RS and you have the green interior trim like that, then it's one of 255. If it doesn't have the green trim, which mine does not, it has gray interior and it has the gray inserts in for the leather. So where did I just have that thing in front of me? Here it is, gray leather. So my car is actually one of 3,625, not one of 255. And again, now I was, like I said a little bit ago, I was a little bit disappointed because I thought that I thought I knew what I had, but I guess I didn't, and I was wrong. But here's the thing, you need to understand, it's still, and Scott said this on the phone, he said it's still a little bit of a collector's item because, look, there was only 3,600 of them made. If you look at the black leather interior, there's almost 25,000 of those made, right? So a whole lot less of the gray interior were made than the black interior. So I guess that's one way to look at it. Like, I guess I still have a really cool car. I'm not disappointed. I'm not like gonna sell it because I'm unhappy about all that information or finding that out. I'm actually more satisfied and more happy that I found that out through Drake, because when it comes to having a showboard in front of my car, I want it to have the correct stuff on it. I absolutely want it to have the right stuff. And I owe all of my thanks to Drake, because this is what my showboard's going to look like. I think maybe it's the bottom of the screen cut off. I don't know. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let's do that. Looks like maybe it's crunched in there a little bit. But anyway, so I have him making me a board. I'm really excited about getting it. It still says a 6.2 liter L99 V8 with 400 horsepower, 6-speed automatic transmission, limited slip differential, Brembo brakes, 20-inch wheels. 20-inch wheels as part of the RS package. Synergy green metallic finish, black leather with gray interior, heated seats, and I'm excited. But again, the whole reason that I brought this whole thing up is because I wanted to make sure that you understand that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and now I got to make another video about my car and kind of like add that to the list. I'm not going to take down the original that I made. It just shows you that I'm human. I make mistakes. So anyway, I wanted to start off today's episode or today's show with talking about that, because I know that the people that I hang out with, especially, I won't name anybody in particular, but a couple of guys in particular, like, they're very meticulous about it saying what it actually is. If it's not, then don't misrepresent, especially at a car show. So I don't want to do that. I want everything to be right. And again, I thank Drake for, he's making the board, so he's going to have his name on it, and he was able to help me figure that out and find the truth about it. And then I want to say thank you to Mr. Scott Settlemeyer for, like, the dude's retired. He doesn't have to take a phone call from some goofball in Fort Wayne, Indiana, asking questions about Camaros. Like, the guy's been retired for years, and he still has the time to make a 15-minute phone call to a person like me that's learning, that is an enthusiast, that wants to know. I want to know. I want to know what I say is correct. I don't want to give false information. But anyway, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Drake. And I'm excited about getting my show board for Mr. Grinch. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, let's move on. I was going to mention real quick that I do have a couple of friends that are still doing the car shows inside, because, today was 45 degrees in Fort Wayne and everybody lost their mind. I seen people out riding motorcycles. I saw people walking around in shorts and T-shirts. It's 65 degrees warmer now or today than it was 2 weeks ago. But come on, it's still winter. There's still snow on the ground. It still has to completely melt before it goes away. Then we need the spring to wash off all the salt and the grub, the crud off the streets before we can even get our cars out. But I did want to say that, check out World of Wheels is coming to Detroit if you're looking for something to do inside. And the dates for that is February 27th, 28th, and March 1st. That is the next World of Wheels show that I know about. I don't think there's another one anywhere else. I do know that there was a big show in Philadelphia last weekend, but that's just way too far for me to even think about going to. So if you're in the middle of the country and you're looking for something to go do inside, World of Wheels is in Detroit, February 27th through March the 1st. Now, moving along, because I'm already 25 minutes into the show, and I try to keep it about a half hour, 40 minutes. I read some information just this week about what GM is planning to do with the new 27s, Corvettes, C8 Corvette 2027. We all know that they released photographs of the Grand Sport coming out in 2027, and they also talked about putting the new LS6 motor in it. It's a 6.7 liter V8, and rumors are starting to fly on how much power that motor's going to produce. Now we know that the LT1 in the Camaro and the regular Stingray, the 6.2 liter, was putting out a 455. And they're saying that the 6.7 liter LS6 is hopefully going to produce somewhere between 535 and 550 horsepower. Those numbers are not confirmed by GM. I don't think anybody has put that out yet, but people are speculating. People are starting to talk about it. People are wanting to know what's it going to be. And so the numbers that I've heard are 535 to 550, 552, something like that. So it'll be a substantial amount over what the LT1 put out, which is pretty cool. And they also released, GM also mentioned that it's very possible that they are going to put that motor in all platforms, all Stingray platform for the C8 starting in 2027. Now, obviously, that doesn't include the E-Ray. They will probably put the 6.7 liter motor in it, but it will also have the front drive electric motor. Same with the ZR1 and the ZR1X, so on and so forth. But that's pretty good news. So the reason that I know that is because they were talking about, and I completely forgot to make notes of that before I went live. Let me see if I can find that real quick, if you bear with me. Okay, so they also said in one of my emails that if you are planning to get a 2026 still, if you're wanting to get a C8 2026 model with the new interior, right? The deadline for ordering those is going to be March the 23rd, 2026. You guys, that's only a little bit over a month away. 5 weeks, maybe. So if you're sitting on the edge of your chair and you're like, I'm waiting for the weather to break, I'm going to run down to my dealership and I'm going to order a C8 because that's what I want. You need to hurry because according to them, the deadline to order a C8 2026 is March 23rd next month, 2026. And then they went on to say that production of the C8 Corvette is more than likely going to be over about May 29th, 2026. So if you get your order in, they accept it and they send you the email that we've got we have all the parts and everything that we need to make the car you ordered. They're gonna like wind it down in May 29th, 2026. They're gonna stop producing the 2026 C8. Okay, so make sure you go and get your order in if that's what you're planning on doing, because if you don't, you are going to miss out. Now, let me take a breath. Yeah, so with that being said, let me go back to my notes because I have to have notes in front of me or I feel like I'm lost. So here's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Again, it's kind of funny because I have a show. I do this every 2 weeks, and it never fails. Like the day after or 2 days after I do my show, they come out with something else, and then like I have to wait 2 weeks to tell you about it or whatever. But I wanted to show you this because I think it's pretty cool, right? Now, last year, I was in Ohio at Bud Chevrolet in St. Mary's, Ohio, and I was filming their Corvette showroom, and I heard somebody out of the corner of my ear say, "Is that a Yenko?" And I'm like, it stopped what I was doing. I turned around, I was like, "Did you just say Yenko?" And they're like, "Yeah." You guys, I actually was in the right place at the right time to watch them deliver a Yenko SC to the dealership in St. Mary's, Ohio. Now, the guy had already bought the car. He ordered it from Bud's. They loaded it up on a trailer. They sent it over to Pennsylvania. Yenko did their thing and sent it back to St. Mary's, Ohio. And I happened to be there the same day that they delivered that car. It was pretty cool. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go back to last summer, maybe early summer, I think it was, and check it out because it's pretty cool. Now, with that being said, they put out on the internet that some photographs of the new Yenko for this year. And I just absolutely thought it was so cool, because they literally only make 50 of these, right? And, so basically what they do is they put a supercharger on it. They change a lot of the internal motor parts so that it can handle the added power, right? And then there's a a visual package that's added to it. Like there's a stripe down the hood. It says SYC on it. Yenko supercar. There are the YSC is embroidered into the back of the seat. It's not just about the appearance stuff. It's mainly about the motor stuff. But you guys, this car right here is an E-Ray. Are you kidding me? It's an E-Ray, and it's been souped up by Yenko SC, and it has 1,564 horsepower. Unbelievable. Now, again, they're only making 50 units of it. I'm telling you that car is amazing. Like, holy moly. Will I ever have one? Probably not. It's probably out of my, way out of my league. But, this is one of those things where, obviously Corvette already is putting out an incredible C8 with the ZR1 and the ZR1X. But you know what? I have a friend of mine that actually his wife just recently got an E-Ray. And I think the E-Ray is quite possibly pretty underrated. Like, if you think about it, if you put a bunch of horsepower to the back wheel and you're not grabbing like you need to grab off the line, you're just going to spin, you're going to go a little crooked. You're going to take your foot a little bit off the pedal because, oh my goodness, we're starting to get squirrely. Now, add a motor to the front of the car, and guess what? You have a really super hot car right off the line. I'm telling you. They're making those in the factory. You don't have to do nothing to it, but go buy one. An E-Ray, like, the more I hear about them, the more I really like them, and I think that they are underrated. I think possibly what happened was GM kind of messed up when they called it the E-Ray, because the first thing that everybody thinks of is electric. The first thing that they go to is, oh my gosh, it's an all-electric car. That's not true. If you still don't know that yet, you haven't been doing your research, because the E-Ray is not an all-electric car. It's just got an electric motor in the front of the car, and there's an ICE in the back of the car, internal combustion engine in the back of the car, and together they make one incredible machine. And if you know anything about Corvettes, you also know that the ZR1 has a flat plane crank in it. It's incredible, 1,064 horse. And then guess what they did? They put they made a ZR1X, and you know what they did? They put an electric motor, the same electric motor that's in the E-Ray. They put that into the ZR1X, right? And they gave it a little bit more horsepower, so now it's 1,250. The ZR1X, and everybody's losing their mind. They want the car. They're like, I got to have one of those cars. They're not making that many of them, but everybody wants one. But why don't you, what's wrong with an E-Ray? I'm just asking. You know, in my opinion, an E-Ray is probably a mini ZR1X. Let's just call it that. Because look, you can get an E-Ray for $130, $150, depending on how you set it up. You're not even going to touch a ZR1X for that. Not even close. That's half the money. I think that the ZR1X is like $210, $225, whatever. So anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm just throwing it out there. I probably will never have any of them, just because, you know, that's a little bit out of my league, and that's okay. But I wanted to just talk about that, and I show you these photos. This is an E-Ray Yinko SC with 1,564 horsepower. That's insane, you guys. I think that's crazy insane. Now, with that being said, I think I've said quite a bit, and I just wanted to show you one more thing, and then I'm going to sign off, because we are at the end of our time. So my camera is froze up on my phone. Let's see if we can wait a minute and see if it unfreezes, because I don't want to really click on it if it's frozen. But I belong to the Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club, as I've said many times, and I've met a lot of people, and a person by the name of AJ. I've never met him in person, but he's a member of the NEOCC, and he recently bought a Corvette, and he sold his Inferno Orange 5th Gen Camaro. And when he did that, he decided he wanted to sell a bunch of his stuff, like things that he had, and he put it on the internet for sale. And I got a sign from him. It took me a little while to get it in the mail, but it's really cool, and I wanted to show it to you. But apparently, doesn't look like my phone is going to want to work it out for me. So maybe I'll just pick the sign up and show it to you. I don't know why there we go. I think I heard it. There we go. How about that? So there's Mr. Grinch over there, right in the background with my NEOCC in front of it. And right there on my piano is the Camaro sign I got. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I'm pretty stoked about it. It's made out of metal, and he shipped it to me. He put it in a box and boxed it up real nice. It looks great. And I just wanted to show you that. I didn't have a chance to hang it on the wall. I like to hang that sort of stuff on the wall up here, but yeah, anyway. So that I just wanted to show you that real quick. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today on Shop Talk. And I have a message from someone. Cameron. Hey, what's up, Cameron? How's it going, man? Thanks for stopping in and saying hi to me, man. How you been? I played music with that guy at church. He's a good dude. Yeah, so go Hawkeyes. Love the sign, he says. He must have been looking at this angle right here. Thanks, man, for your support. I appreciate that. How you been? Anyway, so I just wanted to go over all that stuff with you. Again, I'll be putting out a video in the next week or so explaining my flub up with my thinking that I had something that I don't have, and correcting that mistake. If you are just tuning in, you have to go back and watch the beginning of this show. But anyway, I'm excited about show car season coming up, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm actually going to be torn between which ones to go to because I have the Corvette and the Camaro now. And one of my friends was questioning me about that. I'm going to say this real quick just because I can. But I guess one of the reasons why I decided to do what I did was because for the money that I have in the Corvette and the Camaro, I could have a pretty nice C8 Corvette, but it's one car, and then it's like to me it just seems like way at the top of the food chain, the C8 for me. And so I wanted to get one of each and kind of be able to enjoy the Corvette and the Camaro because I've never had a Corvette until November. I've had Camaros for the last few years, and as you know, and so I went ahead and went with that setup, and I'm going to try that for a while and see how it goes. And I could change my mind, and that's okay. Like if I die next week, I can say, hey, I had a Corvette. Hey, I had a Camaro. But anyway, I'm just going to sign off now. I just want to tell you guys, make sure that you drive safe, and I will see you someday at a car show. MusicMan, I'm out.